Hello and welcome to today's video. We're going to cover patch 13.5 and look at the teams that are most impacted by the patch, either in a positive or negative way. If you're new to the channel, the way I do these videos, let's just make sure I'm recording. I am, and audio's working. I view all buffs and nerfs the same for this video series. I understand that all buffs and nerfs are not created equally, but for the sake of this and just basically looking at it in a very way, um, everything's created equally. When it comes to a nerf, a team I think is negatively impacted if a champ's been nerfed that they have used more than most other teams so far this year. When it comes to buffs, I look back at the last time the champion was picked by, several players. You're looking at 20, 30 players or so. We look at that year or that split and determine who played it and who didn't. Those are the players most likely, in my opinion, to pull it out again versus players that may have historically played a champion, but didn't the last time it was, semi-fringe meta. So who's to say that they would pick it this time? As far as nerfs on 13.5, Aurelion Sol, Caitlyn, Gangplank, Twitch, Xayah. Twitch more support, and we really only saw one Twitch 80 carry game anyways. And then Ashe, predominantly support. Listening to a couple pundits' opinions, it sounds like Ashe 80 carry is relatively fine. It's the support that is more hurt by this. Buffs, Aatrox, Kennen, Jinx, LeBlanc, Kiana, Rumble, Samira, Tryndamere, Pantheon. Pantheon, Rumble, Kiana, more jungle related, I believe, but Kiana's might be a bigger buff. I'm not 100% certain on. I'm trying to remember what people were saying, but I think it's a decent buff. So LPL, the four teams that are happy to see this patch, that come away from it with the best, not positive. The teams not mentioned on here, by the way, that does not mean they aren't affected by this patch. It's just they are not the most positive or negatively affected. They're in the middle. OMG. Shanji plays Aatrox, Kennen, and Rumble. Rumble is also played by Aki. So they've got double Rumble when it comes to that. Kiana is a champion that was played by Cream. Excuse me. Samira, Abel probably is, out of the major regions, the biggest Samira enjoyer out of everybody. He played it 7 times last year. I think like everybody else may have played it like 13 times total. Like he is a massive Samira enjoyer. So it getting some of its nerfs reverted helps Abel. And then we have Jinx. Abel plays Jinx. RNG, Breathe plays Aatrox, Kennen, Tryndamere more than your average player the last time they were meta. Rumble for Wei. Pantheon for Wei. And then you have Jinx for Gala, and then they've also played Caitlyn more than your average team this split, so that's a nerf to them as Caitlyn gets hit a bit. FPX, Fearness played Tryndamere last year. We have to keep in mind Fearness was with LGD on a part-time basis, splitting with, oh god, who is he splitting with? It was Fearness and Chelsea. So Tryndamere, and then Pantheon for Hacker, Rumble for Hacker, and LWX plays Jinx. Thunder Talk, Hoya plays Aatrox in Rumble. Kiana is played by UCal. And then Jinx played by Wanfeng. So those 4 teams, the most happy to see it in the LPL. FPX, I don't think this patch saves them. They are in the depths of, they're in some serious trouble. Let's just put it that way. EDG. These 3 teams not so happy about this patch. They are not, it's not super positive. Kennen, Ale plays Kennen quite a bit, more than your average player. When it comes to Tryndamere, Aatrox, and other things, these players may play them. Sure, I'm not saying they don't, but compared to everybody else, they don't play them as much. And of course, we can say, well, this is banned against this person more often than that, and it's like, I don't have those stats easily, so we don't look at bans, and I understand bans are a thing. EDG played a lot of Caitlyn and Ashe support. So leave Caitlyn and Mako's Ashe, both nerfed. Ninja in Pajamas, Kennen for Invincible, Now, Gangplank was nerfed, and only a few players have played Gangplank thus far, and Invincible is one of them. And then Zhuo, or Zhu, has played Ashe this year, and then LGD Jin Zhao has played Ashe. So more than your average support so far this year. LCK, Genji, Aatrox for Doran, Rumble for Doran, and Peanut, Tryndamere for Doran. We have to remember Chovy did play mid Tryndamere. I wanted to say a caveat to that once last year. Not a lot of people did that. I don't think he won that game, but he did do it. I put Fizz down. I mean, I didn't even write Fizz down as a buff champion. Chovy played Fizz the last time a few players played it. I highly, highly doubt Fizz is anywhere even on the same planet as Pro Play. But in the nerfs and buffs and the basicness of it, I have to be fair about it. And he did play it. And then Pays played Caitlyn this year quite a bit. D+, Tryndamere for Kana. Canyons, Kiana, and Rumble. LeBlanc for Showmaker. He's played it this year. A lot of people are going to say, players have played in the past, isn't this? It's like, yeah, but quite a few players have played LeBlanc this year. So if you're willing to play it, you probably would have played it already. Now they're more likely to play it, but I think the teams that are most benefited by it are people who have already been scrimming with it and using it. Jinx for Deft, and then D+ has used a lot of Caitlyn thus far. Probably one of the better teams, well, the second best team that's listed in the nerf category is Sandbox. Caitlyn and Ashe. So Envy and Cal, Caitlyn, Ashe both nerfed. And then Nongshim, Xayah is nerfed. And Vital played quite a bit more Xayah than your average player this split thus far. Another caveat to keep in mind, when you have a team that doesn't have a lot of information at the highest level of play when it comes to champ pool and stuff, I'm not going to give their academy or challenge or champion pools the same quite of credence as I would a pro champion pool, only because not all of it carries over, and it's not a guarantee that your champion may have been good at this level that it'll be good at the next level. I mean, yeah, a higher level of play, right? LEC, G2 is one of the happiest teams when it comes to this patch. Aatrox and Tryndamere for Broken Blade. Pantheon for Pantheon should not be on there for G2. That's my mistake. That was an error. I put G2 Yankos instead of G2 Heretics. Heretics wasn't on there much though, so to be honest with you, it doesn't affect it all that much. Heretics would not have ended up on this board if it was otherwise. Jinx and Samira, both for Hans Sama. We saw Hans pull out Samira already this year, and he played Jinx last year. Mad Lions, Aatrox for... I screwed up that one too. That's supposed to be Dig Armut. Doesn't matter. Dig would not have ended up on this board, I don't believe. Mad Lions, Kiana, and Rumble twice. So Kiana for Elyoya, Rumble for Elyoya, and Rumble is also played by Niski a bit. The last time Rumble mid was a thing. Astralis, Finn played Gangplank more than your average person this year, and Crowny played Caitlyn more than your average your average player. So both of them nerfed. Not their champion pools aren't overly boosted by these up here on the board. Based on their pro, obviously Crowny played pro a couple of years ago, but last year in the LFL, his stats are not applicable. LCS, EG, Aatrox and Tryndamere for Someday. Played both those champions last year. Kiana for Inspired, and then FBI played Jinx. C9, we have Kennen, LeBlanc, and Jinx. Fudge, Kennen. Obviously, Eminez is LeBlanc. He's already played LeBlanc twice. And then Berserker played Jinx last year. And then on the LCS Nerf side of things, CLG, Jinx, buffed for Luger. However, Dokla has played Gangplank, and Aurelian Soul for Palafox. He's the only person to play it twice thus far. Maybe Harry has as well, but they end up washing out. And then Immortals, Tacticals played Zaya more than your average player thus far. So these teams are the ones most affected by it. You'll notice like the nerf lists aren't as long because those teams are not overly buffed by the patch. It's just like when it comes to their champion pools based on what they've been using lately. There's only 1 or 2 champions that are actually listed on this patch that do it. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube member, and thank you for watching.